Okay, here in this video, we're going to look at the perimeter or circumference of a circle. So, perimeter of a circle is also referred to as the circumference of the circle, right? So, what is perimeter of a circle or what is circumference of a circle? It is the distance round a circle. So, perimeter of a circle is the distance round a circle. So, if you look at this circle, for instance, the distance around this circle, around it, is known as what? The perimeter or the circumference of the circle, of this circle. So, the formula for perimeter of a circle is P is equal to 2 pi r, where your P is the perimeter of the circle, r is the radius, which is the line drawn from the center of the circle to any part of the circumference, right? And pi is a constant. Why is it called a constant? Because it has a value that does not change. So pi, like I said, is what? A constant. It is constant. Why is it called a constant? Because it has a value that does not change. And the value is 22 all over 7. 22 divided by 7, 22 all over 7, or 3.142. So 22 divided by 7 will give you 3.142. So pi is a constant because it has a value that does not change, and the value is 22 all over what? 7, or 3.142. So wherever you see pi in mathematics, the value is always 22 all over 7 or 3.142. Right? So this is the formula for the perimeter of a circle. Like I said, the perimeter of a circle is also called the circumference of the circle. And the formula is P, perimeter or circumference, is equal to what? 2 pi r. So you must not forget this formula. P is equal to 2 pi r. P is equal to 2 pi r. P is equal to 2 pi r. You can sing with it. So P is equal to 2 pi r, right? So let's look at a question here. Calculate the circumference of the circle below. So like I said, the circumference of a circle is also known as what? The perimeter of the circle, right? And the formula is what? P is equal to 2 pi r. So for this question, calculate the circumference of the circle below, right? Given that the radius, you can see the radius, the line drawn from the center of the circle to any part of the circumference. So that's the radius, right? So the radius is 7 centimeters. So the formula for circumference of the circle, which is the perimeter of the circle, is equal to what? 2 pi r, right? 2 pi r. My perimeter will now be equal to 2 times what? Pi is what? Pi is a constant because it has a value that does not change, and the value is what? 22 all over 7. So 22 all over 7. We've looked at that before, that pi is equal to what? 22 all over 7. This is the value for it. It does not change. Times arrow. My arrow is what? Is the radius, and it is what? 7 centimeters, right? Times 7. So 7 will cancel out 7. So my perimeter will be equal to 2 times what? 22. And that will be equal to what? 2 times 22 will give us 44 centimeters, right? So this is the perimeter or the circumference of this circle. So that tells you that the distance around this circle is what? 44 centimeters. Right? Yeah, that's very easy, right? So let's look at the next question here. Find the perimeter of the circle below. Find the perimeter of a circle below. So perimeter of a circle, also known as the circumference, the formula is equal to what? 2 pi r, right? 2 pi r. So my perimeter will be equal to what? 2 times what? What's the value of pi? 22 all over 7. The value does not change. It's always 22 all over 7 times my arrow is what? The radius. The radius here is what? 14 centimeters. So times 14, right? So 7 here is 1. 7 here is what? 2. So my perimeter will be equal to 2 times 22 times 2. So 2 times 22 will give me what? 44. So my perimeter will be equal to 44 times 2. So 44 times 2 will give me what? 88. So my perimeter will be equal to 88 centimeters, right? So what that tells you is that the distance around this circle is what? 88 centimeters. Okay, let's look at the last question that I have here. And the question is, if the radius of a circle is 21 centimeters. So now we'll be given that the radius is what? 21 centimeters, right? So if the radius of a circle is 21 centimeters, find its perimeter. So I'm going to draw the circle. This is the circle in question. This is the center of the circle. So the line drawn from the center of the circle to any part of the circumference is the radius, right? So we're given that the radius is 21 centimeters. If the radius of a circle is 21 centimeters, find its perimeter. So perimeter, the formula for perimeter of the circle is equal to what? 2 pi r. You must not forget this formula. You must not forget it. So if p is equal to 2 pi r, my p will be equal to 2 times what? The value of pi is 22 all over 7. The value does not change. Times r. R is what? 21 centimeters. That's our radius. Times 21. Right? So 7 here will give us 1. 7 here will give us 3. Right? So my perimeter will be equal to 2 times 22 times 3. So perimeter will be equal to 2 times 22 will give me what? 44. So I now have 44 times 3, right? So 44 times 3 will give us what? 44 times 3 will give us, this 3 times this 4 will give us what? 3 times 4 will give us 12. It will give us 12. So what I will do is that I will put down 2 and carry what? 1, right? So 3 times 4 will give me 12 plus the 1 I carried, which will give me what? 13. So this is 132 centimeters. So my perimeter will be equal to what? 132 centimeters. So what that tells you is that the distance around the circle is what? 132 centimeters. So that's all for today's lesson. So like I said, perimeter of a circle is the distance around the circle, and the formula is what? P is equal to 2 pi r. Your P is your perimeter, also known as the circumference of the circle. Then your arrow here is the radius of the circle, so this is the radius, and pi is a constant. Pi is equal to a constant because it has a value that does not change, and the value is what? 22 all over 7, or 3.142, right? So that will be all for this lesson. Thank you very much for listening.